Good evening, everyone. My name is Jobim Novak, but I go by Joe. I was born in Guatemala to a poor mother who wanted a better life for me. She put me up for adoption as an infant, and I was adopted by two loving people from Toronto who are my parents. I was raised in a Jewish household and attended Hebrew day school from kindergarten to grade 8, where I was bullied and misunderstood by the people around me. At a young age, it was apparent that I was articulate and very good with language, but was told in school not to use my gift because it would make my peers look stupid. When I was in grade 7, I realized something wasn't right in my brain and began hearing voices and experiencing hallucinations, but I didn't tell anyone for fear of being even more misunderstood. By grade 8, I had had enough of the bullying, and by grade 9, I set out to befriend people who I thought would accept me. I started smoking pot, drinking, and began what would become a lengthy on and off addiction to painkillers. At the time, I still hadn't told anyone about my psychotic symptoms. Although I was no gangster, I romanticized the tough guy image and the things that went with it. On a few occasions, I also tried taking my life. At the age of 16, I entered rehab, my first of 2, where I remained until I had my first episode of psychosis. After being discharged, I was admitted to the youth ward at Sunnybrook Hospital, where I was diagnosed with schizophrenia and depression and anxiety. I was clean, but I didn't know how to live a sober life. I was still haunted by my schizophrenia, which was so isolating. Because of that, I ended up in rehab again. At that point, I made the decision to stay sober and live a good life, a life that I deserved to have. Today, my symptoms have subsided and I'm thriving. I've also made it to 21. I'd like to thank my friends and family who have gotten me to this point. I would also like to thank Lori, who runs the writers group at Learn through Wehrhafta and the Writers Collective. And I would like to thank my support worker, Moshe. Both of them have helped my peers and I find our voice and learn to use it. I'd also like to thank Sharon and Galit for helping me prepare for this evening. Thank you for listening to my story, which brought me to write the following songs. Raindrops falling and hitting my window. I'm seeing my past and flashbacks of sin, bro. And man, I've been so bad and no-mannered. I've been real stoned on pills and been hammered. Could have gone to court, but of course I was lucky. Would have been in jail, but that ain't where they stuck me. Instead, I was left with the pills and the Buckleys, hooked on drugs that all happened so abruptly. So much at stake, but that really just never struck me. Never realized I was wasting my gifts, all for a high, hoping a quick fix would somehow help keep me out of the pits. Separate those who just did it for kicks from the Joe who I know never did it for kids. See, I was hurt back then. I just hated myself. Harsh with the words I would say to myself. And now for the last piece. After so many years of just feeling stressed, I've come to a point where I feel I'm blessed. I hated myself, but now I'll give all that a rest. Let this song get all of these thoughts off of my chest. I've been put here for one sole reason, I think, to help young folks learn to skate on this rink. And I've been on the brink. I had to go to a shrink. I dealt drugs for the money, but never brought me no mink. I was lost in my addiction, not grounded to the earth. Now I finally am and know my purpose and worth. Homie, nothing is perfect, but I still see the beauty in the fight for this life and on my orders and duties. I hope you see in my eyes my drive just to live, because I'm actually living now and I'm able to give. It's amazing I'm better, though I struggle at times. I find peace and solace in every one of these rhymes. Thank you.
It takes a lot of courage to get up here and share your stories. I'm sure we're all grateful to hear those stories from Michelle and Joe. I'd like to thank them one more time. Although Joe is still the second rapper in Kerner Hall. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our auctioneer.